boxing on the edge.
This guy's gonna come forward.
Yeah.
So he's gonna force me
to fight,
to work, which I like.
I think we got the one that was top of the list, and like I say, Eddie delivered massively.
All he has to do is be Danny. Be the Danny of old.
Daniel, Miracle Man, Jacob.
Boxing on the edge.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Gorilla, John Ryder.
Okay, welcome back everybody to Boxing on the Edge. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you enjoyed the boxing this past weekend. We had a lot of action, a lot of fights going on, which was nice to see. Bam Rodriguez won his world title. Then we had the return of Keith Thurman and the Eubank Williams fight. So a lot of boxing on. That was really great to see. Hope you enjoyed the fights. I know I did. We have another fight this coming weekend. Daniel the Magic Man Jacobs takes on John the Gorilla Ryder. This fight is in the middleweight division, no belts on the line. Fight is in London. Both guys coming off a win. Both guys at somewhat of a crossroads, you could say. John Ryder looking for a world title shot. Daniel Jacobs trying to get himself back in the picture as well. Should be an interesting fight for sure. Let's get into and talk about it. So Daniel Jacobs takes on John Ryder this coming Saturday. If you'd have said to me in 2019 that John Ryder's got a chance of beating Daniel Jacobs, you'd have been laughed out of town. No disrespect to John Ryder at all, but obviously at that point Jacobs was a world-class operator. Is he still now? It would suggest not, based on his last two performances and based on his general energy regarding boxing, and I'll get into that in a minute. And but there's some people generally picking John Ryder, and I can understand why. I'm going to talk about both fighters as we do on this show here, and we're going to give a fight prediction and a breakdown in the latter part. But if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hit the like button also. So yeah, let's get into the fighters, and we'll start with the Magic Man Daniel Jacobs. So yes, interesting last couple of years really. Like it came out he split. He's back with his old trainer Andre Rozier. So they were together for a while. You know, they had a very close relationship. He always referred to Daniel Jacobs as his son. He's not his biological son, but you know they had that close of a relationship. But then, you know, post Canelo fight, I found it astonishing to hear that Rozier said that Daniel Jacobs did not train for the Canelo fight. Now, I found a video on this. I've watched it several times. I'm going to try to find it again and leave the link below. But trust me, he said that. And based on what I've picked up on in the last couple of weeks of media, and also just given how Jacobs has performed. I've been following Jacobs for a long time. I've been watching him closely right here in Brooklyn. I've been to several of his fights. I've seen him in the gyms. And if you watch the intensity that he used to fight with, it's not quite there for me. And he, to his own admission in an interview recently, he's alluded to that. So there is some truth to that. I think that he generally did not train for the Canelo fight. Think about that. That's unbelievable. But be that as it may, he's now back with Andre Rozier, and which says a lot about where he either wants to be or whatever issues they had in the past, they patched it up. And he's, you know, if they are that close of family, sometimes family do that, don't they? You know, you don't always see eye to eye, but then you figure things out. So it will be interesting to see where Jacobs is going to, what place he's going to be in, because on paper he should win every day of the week, really. But if he's not up to scratch, and you know, we know John Ryder is going to come in and give it everything, then it could be interesting, because Daniel Jacobs obviously, you know, was a supreme talent around here, and then he got picked up by Eddie Hearn, which is a promoter's dream. You know, Eddie Hearn lapped that up. You get a charismatic, good punching amateur with a lot of charisma. I mean, it doesn't, you know, that's not that hard to promote. It's almost like giving an open goal to a footballer like Matt Letitia or something. And shout out to Matt Letitia, by the way. If you don't know what he's up to, check his Twitter out. Real man. Anyway, back to boxing. So John Ryder, let's talk about John Ryder, because he obviously suffered that controversial loss against Callum Smith. And I watched that fight the first time and I didn't score it, but I've just watched it again by trying to pick out some you know, film study from him, and it didn't. I did not see too many parts where Callum Smith generally landed some effective, clean shots, or not too many. And John Ryder was controlling that fight for the most part, making Callum Smith miss a lot. John Ryder's defense is massively underrated, I would say. He's able to sit in the pocket, relax, move his head, put some pressure on. Doesn't have the biggest pop in the world, but he's got a lot of good fundamentals. His base is good, his balance is decent. But his defense really surprised me. He's actually quite slick. You never would have put those two words together, but if you watch that Smith fight, the way he moves his head and the way he dips in and out of range and his instincts on fight and shots that are coming on the inside, I was very impressed. So John Ryder, you know, he's had some sort of interesting losses too. He fought a few good fighters. He lost to Billy Joe, we know that, and then, you know, I didn't really follow his career too hard, to be honest, domestically, but like, I know he's had some losses he might not have, shouldn't have really lost to, but he's managed to claw himself back in the picture. You know, his last two performances or the last two fights against quite poor opposition do worry me a little bit. If you're gonna, you know, fight that level of opposition and then you're gonna step up to Danny Jacobs, that's not the best thing to do. But he's going to be ready, and you know, like I said, it's a crossroads fight for both these guys, and I really hope John Ryder, you know, can do the business. He really seems like one of those guys that just seems to just deserve something out of boxing. You know, you like to see fighters get a big paycheck. Danny Jacobs has already had a few, not that he doesn't deserve more, but may the best man win at the end of the day. So let's talk about the actual fight. So, you know, Jacobs, at the start of the video, you saw an interview. He was already talking about how Ryder's going to come at him. He's a very calculated, intelligent pressure fighter, really. You might not seem so from afar, but watching that Smith fight, he knows how to put pressure on. He knows how to be relaxed. He knows how to stay in the mid-range, move out the way, like I mentioned, close the distance, and then, you know, do some work and hit the body. And I think John Ryder's best chance of winning this fight is to simply outwork Danny Jacobs, in my opinion. So he's gonna have to do that, and I think he's gonna start doing that. That's probably gonna be the game plan from the opening bell. You don't really want to let Jacobs, you know, get into a groove. He's a very intelligent boxer. He's very rangy, can fight tremendously well on the inside, which I think is what's going to be the difference in this fight. Because the Callum Smith fight, Callum Smith doesn't really know how to fight on the inside at all, really, and that was where Ryder was having a lot of success. Danny Jacobs knows how to fight on the inside. He knows how to defend himself on the inside. He knows how to cover up, and he's got that shoulder roll, which I don't know whether he's going to use because Ryder's a southpaw, but Jacobs knows how to defend himself on the inside, and he knows how to shoot back, and I think he'll probably do some nice clean work. Jacobs there, I think that could be the difference in the fight, is the work that's going to get done on the inside. You know, John Ryder is a little bit predictable once he is there. So other than Ryder outworking Jacobs, I don't see how he's going to really win this fight, other than just overwhelming him, throwing more punches. He's not the biggest puncher, so I can't see him really hurting Jacobs. And Jacobs, like I said, his defense is great. He rolls with the punches beautifully. He's always out of range. He's prodding that with that jab to find the range, and he'll stick it back down low. You know, he's always thinking. Really a beautiful boxer, Danny Jacobs is. When he's on point, he's really good. So I do see this fight going 12 rounds. It could be a bit of a stalemate. You know, I try to do these videos to get people excited, and myself included, for boxing. And you know, it's an intriguing fight, but I think these two guys' styles might cancel each other out a little bit. Could be a bit of a stalemate. And I think the most thing I'm looking forward to is the exchanges on the inside, and who's going to get the better work done there, because the Ryder's obviously not going to win a boxing match with Jacobs on the outside, so he's got to rough him up and try and get on in there and outwork him, like I said. And that will be interesting to see how he does and to see how Jacobs does. And if Jacobs is not on his, you know, in the same mentality he was when he was in the Golovkin fight and pre-Canelo, where if you look at the energy, like he really was like charged up, you know, you don't see that as much now. If he's back on that energy, which I don't think he will be, then he might lose this fight, you know. But if he's got some passion and some desire left to stay in boxing and, you know, put himself back in the frame, then I think John Ryder's going to be in for a long night. But it really depends. I think this fight really just depends on Daniel Jacobs' mindset. Where is he? I like the fact he's got Rozier back in his corner. Is he going to train properly for this fight? If he didn't train properly for the Canelo fight, I mean, is he going to train properly for the John Ryder fight? No disrespect at all, but Canelo's obviously a different beast. So we will see. I personally think Jacobs is going to outpoint Ryder. I think it could be close. I think it's going to be definitely going to go the distance, and there could be some controversy too. If Ryder, again, if there's a lot of close nip and tuck rounds, it's in London, you can see Ryder getting a little bit of an edge, but skills pay the bills, you know, we know that. So I think Danny Jacobs' skills are going to be a bit too much for John Ryder. He's going to be able to pick him apart. He's a bit strong, but he's going to be able to go to work inside and maybe even land that jab from the outside and do what he has to do to control Ryder. And then when it gets inside, you know, do some neat and tidy work, and he should just get through the 12-round decision, even in London. But if Daniel Jacobs is of the mindset that he was at for the Canelo fight, or even just after that, he's admitted to not being quite there to some degree or another, then Ryder could quite easily nick this, you know. I would not put it past him. It really comes down to Jacobs, because we know he's you know, supreme talent, or was. So yeah, anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do you feel the same way? Do you think John Ryder's legitimately got a chance to win this? If so, how? Is Jacobs gonna, you know, be his old self, or is he rejuvenated? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button if you really like the content and you want more. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Look forward to the fight on Saturday. This is Boxing on the Edge. I'll see you next time.
Boxing on the edge. On the edge.
Boxing.
On the edge.